Alright, so today I've got a lot going on here, but not all of this is going to be in the same video. So we're going to start actually with these beautiful little jars over here. So today I am going to finally start to try to plant some of the Monstera Adansonii. I'll get it one of these days. Cuttings that I have rooting in these jars. If you've watched the first videos you've seen there, I have a lot of these. There's a spider. Sorry. I have a lot of these cuttings. I counted them today and I have 21 that are rooting really well. There are a couple more that I have that are, I think when I cut them they were working on growing leaves, and so afterward they kind of kept their focus on that and not so much on making roots. They still look healthy, they just aren't making a bunch of roots. So first let me show you what the roots look like right now, and I have them in some containers of various sizes. This one I know will be a little hard to see because of the quilting. That's my dog, sorry. But I'll pull one out here so you can see a little bit better. Their roots are really pretty long. He's got a little yellow spot on the end there, but those little white spaghetti looking things are roots. In this bigger jar, as you would expect, the roots got super long. You can see some of the plants have several little roots starting. This big root here you can see has like little baby roots coming off the main one. So before the roots get too big, I definitely want to plant it. I'm not gonna plant all of them just yet. I kind of want to see how these handle it before I plant them all, because it'll be a learning experience. So what's an experiment if there aren't lots of ways that it can go, I guess. So to start with, I have 5 of these cuttings. So I was gonna say, where's my mind? So I have 5 little pots. Future ones might end up being potted together to see how that goes. I've thought about, since I have so many and my plant's still so big and honestly still needs trimmed, I might try selling some of the cuttings on Etsy or something like that. Just giving them away to people, I don't know. So there are lots of options, but right now I'm just focused on, for my own sake, and everyone else is figuring out what the best way to deal with them is. Alright, for these guys, I am going to mix up some cactus mix and a lot of perlite. Since they're still working on their roots, I want to make sure that the soil isn't so dense that the roots can't dig through it to make new ones. So I'm going to put them in these relatively small little pots. I know these roots are pretty long, but I think they'll curl up pretty nicely in there. I am going to put one of them in this little pot, just again to see what they do in different situations, but that's basically the plan, so we'll go from there. Alright, so I went ahead and mixed up some cactus mix and perlite. I know not getting to see me stir it must just break your heart, but my phone was dying, so I had to let it charge for just a quick second. So I'm gonna find one of these guys. Like I said, the roots are pretty long. Interesting. Anyway, so I'm just gonna kind of dig down a little bit. This one should be kind of helpful because he's got that stem that I can kind of anchor him with. And then I'm just gonna kind of, a little at a time, mix up the dirt. The smart way to do this, that you should do, that I always intend to do every time I do something and then never end up doing it, is to stir up your mix before you start potting. That way you're not like layering it like I'm doing, which is really dumb. So just one of those do as I say and not as I do kind of things. And you can see these guys have a lot of them. We're starting to throw off these little shoot kind of deals, even underwater. So I think they're ready to be potted and start making new plants. So let me do a couple more of these. These are all gonna be I'm actually going to try this guy in the smaller pot. Again, his root is still really long. The like mother plant was super root bound when I got it. I mean, super root bound. I made a video on repotting that one, so you can go and see. So I have a feeling it'll like the smaller pot more than, to me, it would make sense for it to like such a small pot, but we'll find out. One thing I'm still getting the hang of, other than not making a complete mess, is like finding the balance with packing in my plants. So there's that guy. I tend to, I don't know, like I'm afraid of squishing the roots, so I don't pack it in very well. But then a lot of the times I water it and they like get that little hole on the middle and it's just not pretty. I don't know. So I'm trying to get a little braver with just packing it in, baby. All right. So this is another one that has a really big shoot on it. I'm also kind of rushing here because my phone is trying to die. So there's that little guy. I'm trying to like make a good hole in the bottom here. Or not the bottom, but in the center to the bottom, I guess. And then I'm kind of, I don't know how well you can see, but like kind of curling up the root a little bit and then holding it while I put more mix in like around it and everything. It seems like such a good thing for it to have, you know, really long, nice established roots before I plant it, but for some reason I'm worried that it's gonna fight me. That somehow it would have been better to just let it just start growing the roots, like give it the idea and then go from there. All right, one more. All right, so that's what I've got going. I've got my 5 little dudes in these pots. There's the one guy that's in the little pot, so we'll see if there's a difference in how well they do. Different video. But hopefully all of these will do really well. Like I said, I'll try some future ones with more established roots, probably a couple with some less established roots. I still have a couple that are just have little, like a centimeter long, because they were working on growing some leaves. So we'll be able to see kind of how those all do compared to each other. So hopefully these won't all die and we will all learn something fun from it. Thanks.